Irish guy, and how many trophies has your manager won? Sounds very accusatory. But all we've heard for months now is how Mikel Arteta can't win a sausage. Okay then. A few years ago on a previous channel which must not be named, I gave a grading system for trophies won and ranked every Premier League club based on their manager's trophy haul alone. So let's do that again, okay? All these years later, I now have a face that looks like an onion. I'm gonna rank from worst to best every Premier League manager based on trophy points. I'm gonna give 30 points for a Champions League trophy, 20 points for a top 5 league title, 15 points for a Europa League, 10 points for Europa Conference League, 8 points for Club World Cup, 10 points for a top 5 league domestic cup, 6 points for any other top flight league title, 4 points for a domestic cup from any other league, 3 points for a lower league title, 2 points for either a playoff trophy or like a community shield. So this is proof. Does your manager win stuff? Right, let's go. 20th, Ivan Juric, 0 points. Even Juric licks teabags on the bus. The creepy guy in a trench coat sitting on his own, asking innocent old biddies if he can smell the groceries. That would be my guess if I were to bump into this man queuing for chicken nuggets. But as a manager, if I'm a Southampton fan, then I am begging a club's chairman to shove a yogurt in his eye and send him marching out the door. Because it actually takes a special type of coach to have been in the management game for over 10 years. And yet, 0 points. 0 points on the board. Lads, I'm giving away points for practically anything here. Guys, well, you're getting 2 points if you win a playoff trophy. And yet this man, soon to be blowing out candles on his 50th birthday cake, hasn't even blinked at a piece of silverware. He's never even managed in a final. If you handed him a trophy to pose for a photograph, he wouldn't even know what to do with it. He'd look like someone awkwardly posing for a photo with that creepy neighbor who eats cats. Is there any bigger clue that this man is all spooky and hipster than the fact that his birthplace was literally the name of an M. Night Shyamalan film? Lads, to put it in context, Juric became a coach at Inter Milan once, a month after Jose Mourinho had won the club the treble. Honestly, he was probably drinking from mugs that still had traces of Jose's Vaseline on. Being part of John Perro Gasparini's backroom staff at Inter, he was probably destined for greatness. That was part of the plan, the chosen one, but no. He has got the managerial talent of frozen wine gums. 19th, Kieran McKenna, 0 points. Yeah. The most competent coach in England this summer has 0 points on the board. But you know what? If managers are tied at equal points here, then I'm obviously going to put the more experienced manager lower in the list. That seems fair. And yeah, Kieran McKenna has only been a manager for what? 4 years? He hasn't won any trophy, but come on. 2 promotions? 2 second place finishes is still good enough. But still, it's kind of mad. I never thought I would see the day when Manchester United and Chelsea were literally fighting over someone with no silverware, except for the fancy spoons his mum bought him for Crimbo. Did I just say Crimbo? 18th, Thomas Frank, 2 points. Yep, poor old Thomas Frank. You're getting stuffed in the relegation zone, pal. Jesse, you stuffed on the same couch as Juric, McKenna, in what is probably a very strange tea party. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Frank and McKenna would be normal together. I mean, the Brentford boss is very charismatic. It's just Juric should be sitting there stony-faced, listening to Metallica and Googling where he can buy monkey tongues. Look, Frank has done great work at Brentford, but it probably irritates him a little that he's in his 50s now and has just 1 championship playoff trophy to his name. 17th, Andoni Iraola, 2 points. Okay, this is a little embarrassing. I've been banging on for months about what a superstar manager Andoni Iraola is. And he is, I promise you. He is. Let's revisit this in 5 years' time, okay? He'll be a bunch of places higher in the list. Come back to this in 10 years' time. The bloke would have squeezed his way into the top 4. I promise you that. I can smell trophies in his future. I can smell it. It smells like toast that your granny's just sat on. But yeah, so far, 2 points. Coasting off 1 Super Cup in his first job in Cyprus. With AKL Larnaca when they smashed Apoel Nicosia 5-2 in the final. But still, he got fired a few weeks later. But come on, Thomas Frank has been a manager longer. So he gets punished with the relegation zone, whilst Iraola can safely slurp his coffee outside the bottom 3. Okay, I'm not shoving him in the bottom 3. He is an elite coach who is going to be an absolute world-class rock star. But yeah, 17th. 16th, Eddie Howe, 3 points. Eddie Howe has had one of the most impressive managerial careers in the list. But if you want to narrow it down to cold, hard trophies, then random people who don't understand football would come to the conclusion that he has got the knowledge of a chicken pie. That he's just a southern little elf who should consider chucking in the football career to concentrate on selling ice creams at the beach. Honestly, imagine the Newcastle United owners at their swanky billionaire wine parties, them trying to justify to their peers why they are employing someone who has just 1 lower league title to his name, a championship won with Bournemouth 10 years ago. It's so unfair. This guy just won 9 games of football in a row with Newcastle. So it is unfair to just judge him solely on that. And I hope that in a matter of weeks now, Howe can collect a big fat 10 points and leapfrog a bunch of coaches in this list. But for now, yeah, he's won less trophies than I've kissed squirrels. 15, Fabian Hürzeler, 3 points. Look, you might assume, because Fabian Hürzeler is younger than KSI for crying out loud, that Brighton's boss has only been in the game for 5 minutes. A bit like Kieran McKenna, but no, he's been a big bad boss for 9 years now. Ever since taking charge of FC Pippin's in 2016. So he's been around long enough, okay? But yeah, 3 points. He won the Bundesliga 2, Germany's equivalent to the championship, with St. Pauli last year. Which, I mean, I don't think you get more hipster than that. I mean, maybe pop on a Mumford & Sons vinyl and then squabble with a fellow vegan for an hour and a half on whether or not cows have dreams. But yeah, that title win was hipster squared. But hey, that's a crucial 3 points that keeps you out of the relegation zone. 14th, Enzo Maresca, 3 points. Lads, when Chelsea usually appointed managers in the past, they'd be going for guys with trophy points hauls in the hundreds. Absolute serial winners, Christ above. Even when they decided to go daring and take a risk on someone extremely young, even then, lads, Andres Villas-Boas came to Stamford Bridge at just 33, and using this criteria, he was just off the back of a 41-point trophy season with Porto. So Maresca, yeah, he's got a 1 championship title to his name with Leicester City, 3 points, but yeah, it is early days. So I'm putting him 14, which is just 1 place higher than where I said he'd finish in real life this season.
What, with Leicester?
No, with Chelsea. Yeah, I've got a brain no bigger than a Smurf poo. 13th, Ruben van Nistelrooy, 6 points. Lads, Ruben van Nistelrooy doesn't feel like a proper manager. He feels like a pretend boss, like someone playing dress up. Doesn't he though? This looks a bit like a Manchester United legend getting a high-profile Premier League job based on the strength of his name alone. It's a bit like when we saw Alan Shearer managing a match of the day. And yet, despite Roots seeming like a mini fraud, 6 defeats in a row, this man looks absolutely petrified to still be in a top job. He looks like someone who hasn't slept in months, and yeah, is too scared to even finish his breakfast these days. As we speak, I just know there's at least 7 half-empty bowls of Cheerios in his sink. But even still, lads, he has somehow managed to get as high as 13th. He's got double the amount of points as the actual Chelsea manager. 6 points after he helped PSV Eindhoven win the KNVB Cup, beating Ajax on penalties. But yeah, then they thumped Ajax in the Johan Cruyff Shield, so yeah, surprisingly, 6 points. 12th, Graham Potter, 10 points. Yeah, Graham Potter hasn't won nothing since 2017, but still climbs as high as 12th. Yeah, lads, I'm surprised too. The guy has won absolutely zilch in, non-hipster European football. But yeah, he won both the 3rd and 4th divisions in Sweden with Östersunds, and then his crowning achievement was the Svenska Cupen, basically the Swedish FA Cup in 2017. Is this point system flawed? It probably is, because a handful of random Swedish medals has somehow squeaked this Wallace and Gromit character as high as 12th? That seems a bit unfair. 11th, Arne Slot, 10 points. Lads, we're pretty lucky that Potter has been a manager longer than Arne Slot, because yes, if the actual Liverpool manager was squeezed behind this vanilla muffin in the list, then I would seriously have to evaluate the point system. Because Potter winning a few things in Sweden, in a nation where it's probably so constantly dark that yes, there's probably an epidemic of miserable dentists all jumping off cliffs. Is his 10 points really equivalent to Slot's 10 points, where he got Feyenoord to win the Eredivisie title in 2023, before then winning the KNVB Cup last year, beating NEC in the final? But yeah, I mean, he's doing unbelievable work at Liverpool this season. He could win the quadruple. But the facts are, this is Slot's 9th year of being a manager, and so far, just 10 points. 10th, Nuno Santo, 13 points. Lads, I think it should tell you just how few serial winners are in the Premier League right now by the fact that Nuno Santo has swum his way into the top 10 despite barely winning a sausage in European football. You know what his haul is in Europe? 1 championship title with Wolves 6 years ago, when his squad was basically injected with expensive Portuguese milk. Who doesn't wind up winning the championship with Ruben Neves in midfield and Diogo Jota up front? I'll bet you didn't know that Santo actually won the Saudi Pro League title with Al Ittihad 2 years ago. Yeah, I know, his stint away from the Premier League seemed like an irrelevant mess that nobody paid attention to. Between Tottenham and Nottingham Forest, you probably paid less attention to Santo than you do your neighbour's dog. But he won a league title and a Super Cup, so fair play Nuno. 13 points. 9th, Mikel Arteta, 14 points. All I've been hearing over the last few months is how Mikel Arteta does not win trophies. And yet, he's still 9th in the list. Considering he's only been a manager since a few months before lockdown, then is that really that awful? Yeah, Arteta lifted the FA Cup with Arsenal in 2020 in his first ever season in management, and he's followed it up with 2 Community Shields, and is 9th. 8th, David Moyes, 15 points. I don't know whether to celebrate the fact that David Moyes has 15 points to his name, because he's been a manager since the 20th century. But look, for years, Moyes was seen as the guy allergic to silverware. This is someone who, whilst being a quality, hard-working manager, oh no, trophies were none of his business, right? There was probably more chance of him dumping his wife to elope with a mermaid, right? That was the narrative out there, but he did actually win something back in 2000, lifting the League One title with Preston, and then he won a Community Shield with Manchester United in 2013. Oh, I'm sorry. If ever a trophy was handed to a man on a plate, no other boss in this list was given an easier chance of winning a trophy. Come on. His first game as Manchester United boss, managing the champions of England, and all he needed to do was beat Wigan, a championship team. I would have won that trophy if I was Manchester United boss for the day. So I feel a bit uneasy about even giving him 2 points for that. It'd be like a school teacher having to begrudgingly give their naughty pupil marks at his maths exam because he correctly spelled his name. But yeah, the big one. Big fat 10 points for winning West Ham the Europa Conference League. So yeah, 15 points and 8. 7th, Oliver Glasner, 15 points. 1 trophy. One trophy separates Oliver Glasner from 7th and last. Oliver Glasner should send love letters to Aaron Ramsey in the post, because I promise you, if that ex-Arsenal man had not messed up his penalty for Rangers in the 2022 Europa League final, then this 50-year-old Crystal Palace boss would be an embarrassing last on the list. Yeah, even below Juric. Because this wrinkly onion has been a manager longer than him. Honestly, 1 penalty shootout win over Rangers as manager of Eintracht Frankfurt has elevated him past 13 managers to sit a comfy 7th. Look, winning the Europa League, the baby Champions League, is mighty impressive. So yes, 15 points. But honestly, Ollie, you are a lucky chap. 6th, Marco Silva, 16 points. Is 16 points really good enough to sit 6th in the list? Not really. It feels like getting accepted into university after scraping a D in a free exam. But hey, Marco Silva has collected 16 points spread over 4 clubs, picking up lower league titles with Estoril and Fulham, also a Portuguese cup, and a top flight Greek title, giving the Fulham boss 16 points. 5th, Ruben Amorim, 26 points. Oh, no, the Manchester United manager does not make top 4 in the list. Although, to be fair, Ruben Amorim's trophy haul is still mighty impressive for someone in his 30s. It's just, you don't get much points for Portuguese trophies. So yeah, lads, a cup win with Braga, 2 league titles, 2 cups, and a Super Cup shield with Sporting Lisbon. That gets you 26 points. Although, considering he was stepping into a club who had not won league titles since before Cristiano Ronaldo's debut, then this feels a little mean. Amorim had monumental success at Lisbon, and yet I'm giving him less than 30 points? Oh, this feels a bit like some miserable oaf opening the door on Halloween and giving the enthusiastic trick-or-treaters a handful of mashed banana. 4th, Vitor Pereira, 36 points. I'm as shocked as you are. I know, okay? Whoever saw the Wolverhampton Wanderers coach squeaking his way up into 4th, sitting pretty in the Champions League spots, 10 points above Manchester United's manager? That is Wolves' random as hell pick, Vitor Pereira. This is a manager who was literally chased out of Merseyside when Everton wanted him, just so the fans could get their grubby paws on Frank Lampard instead. Yeah, this journeyman mercenary coach has 36 points, having won league titles in Portugal, Greece, and China. Get this. This is a coach who has lost 7 finals in his life. Ozzy, this guy should arguably have more than 50 points on the board. I know. I'm shocked too. 3rd, Ange Postecoglou, 70 points. Yeah. The Tottenham boss is 3rd in the list, with nearly double the points of the boss languishing in 3rd. Who saw that coming? 70 points. 70! Don't get too excited. Ange Postecoglou has been a manager since the Stone Age. His first trophy was the National Soccer League title with South Melbourne in 1998. Yeah, he won a bunch of silverware in Australia, picked up a league title in Japan, and also greedily stuffed his pockets with a bunch of medals in Scotland. Honestly, whilst in Glasgow, this man was a greedy little giraffe, munching every chunk of silverware and donuts he could find. So yes, Ange, 70 points, spread across 29 years of being a manager. So he averages 2.4 points a year. Relax. 2nd, Unai Emery, 124 points. And over 50 points above Postecoglou is Unai Emery. Anyone shocked? I mean, it is a bit crazy to see Aston Villa's manager with over 100 points on the board. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the club. I mean, Gerard Houllier won a lot of stuff, I guess, but no, I don't even think he would have made 100 points. But yeah, come on, this guy, he's won 4 Europa Leagues and won a bunch of silverware in his 2 seasons at PSG. Here's a question, okay? If Emery retires tomorrow, is there any other Premier League coach below him in the list who will eventually catch this points total? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, Iriola. Next. First, Pep Guardiola, 472 points. Yeah. Nearly 500 points. Ridiculous. Anyway, that is the end of the video. Is my point system flawed? I know it is. You're going to tell me it is. It is. But tell me, what do you think of this? Are you surprised? Are you not? Let me know in the comments. If you did the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.